We need to make literacy rates go to zero. We need to stop teaching reading to kids. Now, I know this sounds like it is a pretty radical idea. Literacy is deeply ingrained in American culture. A lot of careful consideration and examining the scientific research is what really led me to believe in the need for total illiteracy. So let me give you a timeline of my thought process and what led me here today. April 19th, 2003. I'm in preschool, and it's the first time I ever remember being able to read. We were in the car drop-off and pickup line, and they had this like fold-out sign set up, and it said I think it was no parking or something. But the first thing I ever remember being able to read was the no on that sign. And that was like a divine augury. It was like a sign that I needed to stop there. I should turn back now before it's too late. And the thing is, when you're 5 years old, you're not very sensitive to omens. So I didn't. I continued to learn how to read. And then shortly after, as I'm kind of aging out of being like a really little kid to just like a kid, I start to notice sort of some of the magic of life disappear, right? It used to be you were kind of just along for the ride, and it gave you this sense of wonder because you just kind of, your mom took you somewhere and hey, look, it turns out to be an Aldi's or something. But once that started to go away, and as the years have gone by, I realized that it was because I could read. It takes all of the wonder and sense of mystery out of life. Consider this. Let's say that there is a building with a hot dog logo on it. You go inside and maybe it's a restaurant that serves hot dogs, and it's like, wow, it's just like the sign, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's a clothing brand. And so then it's like, whoa, I totally thought there was going to be hot dogs here, but it's just a hot dog logo. But you don't get that when you can read. You'll know, it will say hot dog pants or whatever on the building. And so it'll spoil the surprise. And a lot of my life, I've wondered where that childlike magic went from when I was small. And the truth is, it was hand in hand with my illiteracy skipping off the cliff and into the abyss. I know that many people out there kind of have similar experiences, wondering, I used to feel, more inside, and now as I've gotten older, I feel less. I think it directly corresponds to your ability to read. So, fast forward a bit. I am in 4th grade, and at that point, fully able to read. And what did I choose to do with that? I read those Peter Jackson books. That was a close call. Like, if you've seen the adults now who were super into those Percy Jackson books like I was, it's a bunch of like dweebs and weirdos. It's the kind of guy you see at the Renaissance fair, and he's dressed up in this super elaborate getup as some kind of like goat man. And you see him and you're like, wow, that's impressive. It's kind of neat. I'm here and I'm seeing this, and I'm going to remember seeing you in this wacky getup. But at the same time, I'm pretty glad I'm here in my golf shorts and t-shirt, and I have a wife and a job, and I'm a functional person. Whatever you're going off and doing in your spare time, goat man, I'm glad that I've got what I've got, and, you do you, I guess. And I could have been that. I could have been, the goat man at the Renaissance fair because I could read. And I also want to say, if you're the goat man at the Renaissance fair, it's okay. Like, get a good haircut, stop reading the Percy Jackson stuff or whatever it is. I guess those people are probably reading other stuff now, but whatever you all are reading now, you can put it down and like get a job, and you can. Uh, and I highly encourage that. You don't need to feel bad about being the goat man. Instead, feel good about not being the goat man anymore. And that kind of brings me to the final major moment that really threw my life off of the rails because I was able to read. This was 2017. I am trying to get a job to get out of the hood, and it's going really well. I'm making a strong case for myself. I'm on the final round of interviews, and I'm waiting to, to be invited in for the interview. I take a quick break to the restroom. And when I'm in there, I, whip out my phone. So one of my hobbies, one of my special interests, is doom scrolling. That's just, everybody's got a hobby. That's kind of my thing that I'm pretty into. And so I thought I would do a little bit of doom scrolling just to kind of relax myself before this big stressful interview. And I come across a post, and it's like a paragraph of text. These kind of posts are always just like a paragraph of text. And if you're interested in doom scrolling, you've probably seen something like this. It was describing sexual actions, deviant behaviors, and worst of all, in graphic detail. And I saw it, and the thing is, you just see it and you read, and then I threw up in my mouth. And so I then went into my interview with like puke breath, and because of that, like, I kid you not, the boss man shook my hand, stared me in the eyes, and he caressed my cheek a little bit, and he said, I'm sorry, you've got puke breath. I don't think you're going to be the right fit. And it took me another 20 years to get out of the slums. And that fully drove it in for me. The evils of reading led me to where I am today. So we need to get reading out of the schools. We should not be teaching it to children, right? They're little kids. They don't know any better. It's not something that they are able to consent to, being taught to read, because you can't even undo it. Once you've been taught to read, it's game over. That's it. There's no becoming illiterate again. Honestly, what I think we should do, what would be better, is if we took 5-year-olds and gave them teardrop tattoos and gang signs on their face. That would be better if they were doing that, because you can laser off tattoos, you can get them covered up. What are you going to do about being able to read?